So Lyft likes to market itself as a company that treats drivers better, but when the rubber meets the road, there's a lot of ways that Uber actually treats their drivers way better than Lyft. I'm Christian with the Rideshare Guy, and today I'm going to give you 9 reasons, and then a couple more bonus reasons uh, that Uber is actually treating their drivers better than Lyft. Let's just jump into it here. 9 reasons why Uber treats their drivers better than Lyft. So this one actually, Lyft changed a, almost like in the same week that I published this article. But for the longest time, Uber has had the no thanks button. And this no thanks button, you just hit no thanks and you decline the ride. You're not being forced to accept rides that you don't want to take, especially ridiculous 24-minute Lyft line Uber pools or whatever in order to get a ride. Now, if now Lyft has rolled out this feature too, and when you do get a request, you reach into the I'll do your left top left hand side. There's a little X, and you just click it, and that's the no thanks button. But it will still affect your acceptance rate, which leads me to my next point. Uber promos have lower acceptance rates. So right now in San Francisco or the Bay Area and most places I've seen, Uber doesn't have an acceptance rate at all to get like a Quest bonus or boost or any of the promos that are happening. So in the example in the article here, we see you can do 80 trips, $240 extra. You do it between the times allotted, and that's it. So if you decline all your requests, then you're not going to get 80 trips in the first place. Lyft, on the other hand, has an acceptance rate of 90%, which kind of like, it means like as drivers, we're just kind of forced to, pick up for kind of their sloppy like dispatch system when it gives us a 24-minute Lyft line ride, or when we pull up and someone wants to put 6 people in our car. 90% is just really high, and it kind of assumes that their dispatch system is working almost perfectly. And trust me, even today, it's not. So, I made a little meme here, and I've had this happen a lot. Acceptance rate's 89%. Maybe you're bordering on a Friday or Saturday night, and you go out and you have someone who tries to bring 5 or 6 people in the car, or something happens, your passenger's too drunk, you can't even contact them, and you have to cancel the ride, so your acceptance rate goes down. So Uber doesn't have that. You do the rides and you get the bonus, and that's that. It's easy, it's less frustrating. And another way Uber is treating drivers better is they don't have peak rides, right? So Lyft, when you're trying to go for their bonuses, you have to drive during peak hours and give rides during those peak times. Now, aside from the fact, like, if you get a ride at, let's say, a peak hours from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and you get a ride request at like 7:56, and that takes the whole hour, now you don't have any rides for that peak time, right? It just seems like, Lyft has all these little silly things, like these little gotcha moments, like, that just kind of disqualify you from these bonuses. It's just a dumb reason. And there's so many people I've known who've just been completely screwed over by peak rides or acceptance rates. It blows their whole bonus. And next week they're driving for Uber forever because they hate Lyft after that. So on top of those like major reasons, Uber has surge maps that actually work. And they always have worked better than Lyft's. There's been no point in time that Lyft has had a better surge map than Uber. I know Lyft calls it prime time, but I'm just going to call it surge because like that's what we know it as. So, Uber's maps have always shown us like how much surge, although the new app may not do that. And they've had the hexagons, and when a ride request comes in, you see that it's on surge and how much it's on surge. And, Lyft just recently started showing you how much prime time on a request was incoming, because they had like mixed feelings or whatever about like drivers trying to game the system. So another big thing kind of like with how Uber treats drivers better is they have kind of clear communication. Like, Lyft always sends these like passive aggressive, thinly veiled cult kind of threats, it looks like you've had a few passenger cancellations lately, especially after you don't drive directly to them after accepting the ride. As a friendly reminder, you should drive directly to the pickup location. It's frustrating for passengers when whatever. So like, I feel like my mom is like yelling at me or something, or like, what are you implying? Like, just say if you have cancellations, you might get deactivated, and that's it. Or tell me what the rule is, and tell me what the consequence is. Uber said, "Hey, someone complained about you, and then we just want to let you know, and we're not taking any action. But if we keep getting threats, like, or keep getting complaints of this nature, you might get deactivated. Thanks. Done." Another way that Uber treats drivers better than Lyft is that Uber won't deactivate you for having a stun gun. Now, a lot of people have opinions on weapons, and that's great. We're not going to talk about that. But what we are going to talk about is that driving is seedy. It's not like, we're not driving people to church every day. Or maybe, if we're lucky, once a week, right? Or you get my point. We drive at night. These people are drunk. And, in my experience, I've had several passengers where, like, I didn't feel safe. Like, I was legitimately like, there could be a fight. This person could damage my car right now. I've had people slam my doors. I've had people threaten to break beer bottles on my, windows and stuff at Beta Breakers like 2 years ago. Just like really crappy passengers. And most drivers I know have at least like a stun gun or some spray, like pepper spray, just in case. We're not wielding it, we're not showing it to everyone, but Lyft will actually deactivate you if they find out that you have a stun gun or pepper spray. So, if you're like driving at night and your passenger reaches over to grab your thigh, I guess you're just gonna have to call trust and safety is the message I'm getting out of that. Now, Uber's rating system, I found, is a lot more like squishy. Like it's there, but like it almost means nothing. Like, in a sense, like I honestly haven't heard of anyone getting deactivated from Uber because of bad ratings in the last couple of years. I think you used to be able to, but like, drivers are expensive. Uber's losing like 74% of them or whatever, like every 6 months. Like, unless you're just really bad, like, you're probably not going to get deactivated for bad ratings. Now, Lyft, yeah, they don't really have like ratings protection, and they really try to get the ratings thing going. I think ratings are dumb. You shouldn't be able to rate me off of our 5 to 30-minute interaction because, it makes you feel good. It's just marketing. Anyways, Uber has always had more extensive driver support. Now, notice I say extensive. I didn't say anything about the quality. The quality sucks most of the time. It's getting better. Anyways, it's everywhere. So, Uber's had their green light hubs out for like 3 years now, and they're in basically every city. Most cities have like 2 or 3 green light hubs where, if you get deactivated, or if you're trying to communicate by email and it's just back and forth, you can go to green light hub and get your problem solved. You even used to be able to use IM chat to get stuff resolved, which was great. And even Uber even has support at malls now. So, Lyft has their hubs, and their hubs are good, but there's like 9 of them in the whole country. Maybe there's more now, but nowhere near as many as Uber's, green light centers. And yeah, one good thing I've noticed though with Lyft is that they do a really good job of hiring drivers to work at the hubs. So, when the hubs open, I had a couple of my friends who ended up going to work there, and now they kind of got a job like where they're not in their car for 50 hours a week. So that's, worked out nice. So Lyft has done a better job of that. And then when it comes to sign up bonuses for signing up other drivers, so Uber has retroactive sign up bonuses because Uber realizes that like convincing somebody to become a driver is actually, it's pretty difficult. You gotta basically sell it to them. And if they don't do the right link at the right time and this and that, then there's a good chance that referral doesn't get attributed to you, even though you did all the work. When I first started driving, I referred a couple drivers to Lyft, and I didn't get any bonuses because they either clicked on the wrong link, or I couldn't put it in afterwards, or it was too difficult for them to understand, or that person had started a Lyft application to drive like 4 years ago and never picked it up. But we have seen that Lyft is trying to improve this to where they can do retroactive bonuses, but it's nowhere near as like formalized as Uber's or Easy. And to add some bonuses on why how Uber's treating their drivers better than Lyft is, Uber's deductible is only $1,000 if you get in an accident, whereas Lyft's is $2,500. Now, if you're driving for a living, a lot of drivers don't have a $2,500 emergency fund. The big point that Jay did the article about Lyft, how Lyft treats drivers better, and we wanted to do like a versus thing. But like my big point that I wanted to make when I wrote it is that none of these companies necessarily really treat drivers better, because at the end of the day, they both look at drivers as customers, as a customer acquisition cost on a spreadsheet, a lifetime value over time. Well, I guess that's redundant. And really just is like the difference between the companies nowadays is just kind of like bells and whistles in the app and marketing and branding. There's a couple of minor differences, but like at the end of the day, these companies basically treat drivers the same. And the best thing you can do for yourself is not sit around thinking, should I drive for Lyft only or Uber only? You should drive for both, and you should have a backup plan. And you should also be preparing for, what you're going to do if like this doesn't work out. So that's that. That's 9.5, 10 ways now that Uber is actually treating their drivers better than Lyft, even though many would have you think otherwise. I'm Christian with the Rideshare Guy, and make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, tell your mom, tell your grandma, share it with everyone you know.